going to be reviewing a GSC overuse game I played. This game went over 100 turns, so I decided that rather than playing the game live and recording myself and uploading it later, I decided that I was going to upload a video of me putting the game on fast and just slowing the game down to review key plays. That way I can post this content and it doesn't end up being super long. It'll just end up being probably closer to 15 to 20 minutes instead of being like 30 to 45-minute video of me playing a really long game. So I'm going to be playing a team that I had played previously with Sleep Talk Marowak and Sleep Talk Snorlax. So yeah, let's just get right into the game here. I'm gonna start off as normal pace because a lot happens in the first couple turns here. So Zapdos into Executor, our common lead. His Zapdos has Drill Peck though, which is pretty uncommon to see. He switches in Forretress. I switch in Marowak. I go for Earthquake, get a lot of damage onto his Starmie. His Starmie recovers up. I try to get a spike up with my Forretress. But here was a key play that happened was very early in the game, he gets a crit hit on my Forretress, which not only prevents me from setting up spikes, but also prevents me from rapid spinning spikes later because my Forretress was my rapid spinner on this team. So now I'm going to speed it up a bit so that the game can go quicker. But I just wanted to go slow in the beginning because a lot happens in the first couple turns. And if you're just getting onto this video, you might have missed it. Here I use Thief with Executor to steal leftovers from Zapdos, get some chip damage, and then I just pivot out. I send in my Marowak to use Ancient Power on Zapdos, which I end up getting an Omni Boost. And here I'm able to revenge kill my Forretress, which got killed by Starmie, which is quite funny. And I have a Rest Talk set in this Marowak, so I just rest up. Because I have an Omni Boost, I have a boost in defense, so those double edges aren't going to bother me much. And uh, So I just sleep talk here. I'm trying to roll Earthquake and get damage off, but unluckily for me, I just roll Rest and Ancient Power, which are probably the least things I'd want to get. His Razor Leafs aren't doing much damage to me because I have that special defense boost, and Victory Bell's physical attack's a lot higher than the special attack. But he ends up getting a crit hit here and taking out my Marowak, which is quite unfortunate because if he wouldn't have gotten a crit, I would have broken through at least that Victory Bell, if not most of his team. And a huge crit double edge too. I'm getting really unlucky in the beginning of this game, but as you'll see later, I start to turn it around a bit. I switch in Tyranitar here, threatening to Rock Slide. I use Fire Blast though, trying to predict the Forretress coming in to prevent him from getting a spike up, because this Forretress getting a spike up is really annoying for my team because 3 of my Pokemon are grounded, and on top of that, I don't have my own Forretress to rapid spin away this hazard. So it's I'm really in a disadvantageous position here because not only is he up by a Pokemon, but he also has the ability to set up hazards when I do not. I end up trading away the Tyranitar here with my own Tyranitar and taking it out. Switching Zapdos because his Victory Bell is not able to do much to me. Even a Sludge Bomb's not going to do much, especially with being able to rest off that damage. Uh, my Zapdos are kind of locked in this battle to where I'm trying to roll Thunder, and he's going to rest up and try to roll Double Edge. So we both are hitting each other with our large stab attacks and trying to force the other one to switch out. If I get him to switch out, I can get a Thunder and maybe a Paralysis on an incoming Mon. If he gets me to switch out, he can either take out a Mon or chip down a Mon heavily. I end up having to pivot in my own Snorlax here as I was risking my Zapdos' life by staying in for too long because he was rolling more double edges and I was taking Thunders. He's able to pivot in and get a spike up here because I didn't predict with the Fire Blast in time. My Fire Blast comes out too little, too late. As he switches in his Snorlax here to rest up, I just tried to get some damage off with Earthquake and with Rock Slide. Sorry, I was gonna say he wakes up here, but maybe that's the next turn. So yeah, he wakes up here, goes for double edges. I go for Rock Slide. Now I go for Roar. I'm calling these plays wrong. Sorry. uh, I'm trying to hit that victory bell. As now we're back in this position where I'm trying to roll Thunder with my rest talk, and he's trying to roll Double Edge with his rest talk. As I switch out, I'm trying to curse up and break through as he's stuck being asleep from the Snorlax. So I'm at the advantage here by cursing up because he's not able to curse up to match me in this matchup. As I just rest off because if I try to go for a double edge there, he could break through with a crit. As he goes into Forretress, in this turn, I switch out because I think he's going to go for Explosion, so I switch into my Executor to sack the Explosion. But instead of going for Explosion, he goes for a Toxic here, and I'm in this position where I am poisoned. I don't have Hidden Power Fire on this Executor, so I'm going to explode here because if he switches in, Zapdos is dead, Victory Bell's dead, Snorlax is either dead or very close, and at only half health, even with resisted, he's going to be dead too. So I just pick up my free kill with Executor because being toxic and at 18% health, I want to be able to come back in on spikes. Like I said, I'm going to have the game on fast, but when key moments like that happen where a Pokemon dies or something happens, I'll slow it down. Speaking of dying, my Zapdos almost died to that crit hit from that double edge. He gets so many crits this game. Channel, you'll know that a lot of people get a lot of crits on me, but I very rarely get a crit of my own. I did get that Omni boost with Marowak, which is very lucky, but less lucky than a crit statistically. Position with Rest Zapdos and Rest Snorlax, which is a very common position in GSC because Zapdos and Snorlax, not only are they the two most threatening Mons, but they'll often get in these slug battles because being the two best Pokemon in GSC OU, a lot of Pokemon don't want to switch into them because if you switch into a Zapdos, you're risking a Thunder that can give spread paralysis, and if you switch in onto a Double Edge from Snorlax, even if you resist it like my Tyranitar, after a spike, you're really not wanting to take that damage because things like Tyranitar, even though they're rock types that resist normal, they're unable to heal that damage off unless it's over a long period of game with leftovers. But besides that niche thing, example, you're not able to heal off that damage. Is able to break through my Zapdos as I roll moves that miss, and I'm not, it just comes down to a little bit of RNG when you're rolling for Rest or Thunder or Hidden Power Ice. But I'm able to get RNG of my own as not only do I get the flinch with my Rock Slide, but the next Rock Slide ends up getting a crit, and he misses a Razor Leaf. So even though he had a lot of luck most of the game, I just got a very lucky string of turns there. I pivot out because I died to the next Razor Leaf, and I start sleep talking and cursing up. Where I'm trying to curse up and break through his cloister. I mean, not cloister, sorry, Forretress here, and I find out that his set is not Explosion. It is Spike's Toxic Defense Curl, and even though I don't see the last move, I know this is a defensive Forretress set where it's either going to have Rapid Spin or it's going to have Rest. So I keep cursing up here because if it is Rapid Spin and not Rest, I can maybe crit through eventually. And even if it's Rest, I can try to get damage to force him into resting so that I can pivot in my Tyranitar and go for Fire Blast to take him out. For defense curl because that's his best move. I'm just going to put it in hyper fast for just a little bit because we're just in this position where he's boosting up with defense curl. I'm boosting up with curse. He keeps toxicking me. I try to rest off. So he's basically trying to stall out my curses and my double edges. And I'm just trying to force him into either resting or switching out and killing his victory bell here. So I do get a crit eventually, which does force him into resting, which is where I will try to rest on my own Snorlax, pivot in my Tyranitar, who's going to take damage to spikes, and try to get an attack off or heal off some damage here. I'm able to heal up in just enough to live from spikes again, to where I'm able to pivot out. as he just keeps going for Razor Leaf. And now we're back in this position where I'm trying to get curses up, and he starts getting defense curls up. So now we're back in the same slugfest we were before, where he's trying to stall me out, and I'm trying to break through with crits, or get him to low enough health to where I can pivot in my Tyranitar for free, because he doesn't have sleep talk, so he's not able to do anything while he's asleep. He just keeps boosting himself. I'm double edging. Rest here because of how low he is. If I do get a crit, I'll break through. So I switch in my Tyranitar, who's only at 4% health here. And here I make a play that is much different than my plays earlier. At this position, I decide to go for Roar to do something called Shuffling. What Shuffling is um, this Pokemon cannot stay in because Tyranitar will kill it, so he will in turn switch in Victory Bell. But as he switches in Victory Bell to check to Tyranitar, I'm going to Roar and force it out, which puts him in kind of this loop cycle where he doesn't want to go for Toxic with Forretress, because if I do end up clicking Fire Blast, then he just loses the game by losing his Forretress. But at the same time, if he just keeps pivoting out without wasting any rest turns, he kind of gets stuck in this Roar loop where I'm able to heal. So you'll notice this here where I'm going to put it to normal speed just to show this. He switches in Victory Bell. I go for Roar. I'm able to heal off some HP. He tries to go for a move. I go for Roar, and I'm able to heal up more HP. So there I went from coming in on, I think, the turn I came in on, I was at like, only had like 4 or 6% health left, and I was able to get up to 29, which can easily live spikes. And if I am able to heal up to the 30s eventually, I'll even be able to live a Razor Leaf from his Victory Bell. So here I pivot out, and I bet you can guess what happens here. I start healing up and just going for double edges again and going for curses, and then he's going to come back in and he's going to defense curl up. Now, as they say, desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm starting to run out of curses, so this is kind of the make or break point of the game. Am I going to be able to curse up and break through, or is his Forretress going to be able to stall Toxic and force me out into a very injured Tyranitar, who probably won't be able to break through these two Mons? So this is kind of the make or break of who's going to win this game here, because I'm starting to run out of moves and run out of time. So I got to make a big play happen. So what happens here is, oh, sorry, I'm going to go to normal speed because a lot just happened as I was trying to go for this. So what happened here was he pivoted out after I was boosting up because his goal was to go for Encore to force me into using curses. But the issue with him forcing me into using curses, if you're paying attention to the screen here, is I ran out of curse moves to use. So his goal was, instead of stalling me out with Forretress, which he should have done because he would have won if he did so, he was going to try to encore me, force me to just spam curses while he just tries to, I guess, take me out with Razor Leaf. I really don't know what his play was here because Razor Leaf does so little against Snorlax, and with +4 defense, Sludge Bomb's going to do literally nothing. So he made a terrible misplay, and I was able to just, even after a crit, it did 25% health. Can you imagine if it wasn't a crit? And I'm able to double edge, take him out, and he knows the writing's on the wall. Max attack Snorlax is just going to pummel through that Forretress. So that's the end of the game as he forfeits. I even say in the chat, if I just move my screen here just a little bit, trying to just grab my screen here a little bit, I say in the chat, like, why'd you do that? And he was basically said something along the lines of like he wasn't paying attention to my PP and he was trying to switch me in for the with the Victory Bell. But even with the whole PP thing, like with the crit, he only got 25% damage with the Razor Leaf. So I really don't know what his thought process was there, because best case scenario, if he could encore my curse turns, his Razor Leaf was doing such little damage that once I ran out of curse, I could use rest. But because I was already completely out of curses to begin with, I was able to just wipe him out and win the game there. So that just shows you that even if you have a really rough start, like in very early on in my game, I lost my breaker on my team in Marowak, and I lost my spike setter and spike remover of Forretress, but I was still able to persevere in the late game and win. And that just shows you that in Pokemon, it's not over till it's over, and always play to your outs. As you saw in that game, I tried 3 or 4 times to boost up and switch with Snorlax. And just because it doesn't work the first 3 times doesn't mean it's not going to work the fourth time. As long as your Snorlax is alive in GSC, you can still win the game because Snorlax is the king of GSC. And that's why preserving Snorlax's health is so important, because even if other pieces on the board fall down, Snorlax is the king who can lead his troops to battle. And that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoy this game, and tell me if you like this kind of format where instead of playing the game and reacting to it live, I react to a game that I played and saved and just review it. If you like this kind of format, let me know. And if you don't like this kind of format, also let me know that too. Feel free. And if you like this kind of content with GSC, feel free to like and subscribe. I'm going to be posting GSC OU content daily. And yeah, we'll hope you enjoy.